In episode 1, we asked a foundational question: why family narratives matter. Why preserving them is one of the most meaningful things you can do for future generations. But once you understand the why, you're ready for the how. In episode 2, we begin that next step. How do you gather, shape, and preserve the stories that define your family? Because this is not about names on a tree. It's about turning facts into meaning, turning records into remembrance, and turning your research into a legacy that inspires. Now, some of you may have extensive genealogy facts about your family, while others might only know the names. Regardless of where you stand, everyone must start with what they know. Names, places, and key life events form your root line. What is your root line? Take yourself as the subject. Write down who your grandparents are, your parents, siblings, spouse, children, and if you're lucky enough to have grandchildren, write them down too. What details do you know? Birth dates, marriage dates? Are they alive or deceased? Every piece of information brings your family history into clear focus. If you know fragments of family history, start by mapping the details, and we can tie them together later. When I began researching my husband's family, I knew very little beyond the root line. I was familiar with the family crest that hung over the fireplace at his parents' house. I was told it was Scottish. From the book The Family of Hogue, I found out the first ancestor to come to America was William in 1682. When my sister-in-law discovered Belle-Hampton, which is the family homestead, she gave some history of the property. It was founded by James Mayo Hogue in 1767. Cool, pre-Revolutionary War. His son, the general, expanded the property to have 9,000 acres. Very impressive. But that was all I was really aware of at the time. It was when our son was going to graduate from Virginia Tech, a fourth-generation graduate, that started my research. What I did know is that he would have been the fifth generation if my husband and I had gone there, but we went to Georgia Tech. That's a story for another day. I knew the graduation date of my husband's dad, 1955. I dug around for his granddad, 1927, but I had no idea about his great-grandfather. When I called the registrar, they assured me they had records of every single graduate. However, when they got back to me, they regretfully said there was a fire and they lost some records from the late 1800s. That is when I discovered special collections at Virginia Tech. They didn't have the record of graduation, but they did have a program of the golden anniversary of Virginia Tech. And what do you know? They had his graduation year listed. Learning to dig around to get the answer is the key to your research. As you reflect on the power of storytelling, I hope you're starting to see that your family history isn't just something you research, it's something to share. The stories you uncover of sacrifice, strength, and even struggle can become the legacy that shapes your children, your grandchildren, and generations you'll never meet. So here's your next step. Think about the stories you already know. Start writing them down, even if it's just a sentence, and talk to someone in your family today. Ask a question, listen, and begin. If this episode spoke to you, subscribe for the rest of the series. We'll be walking through the how step by step. Share in the comments what's the one family story you want to make sure isn't forgotten.